attending online. Brief introduction. Those who may or may not know, our brother Keith Clark will be our next presenter. Brother Keith has been a member of the province since 1958. He has served in a number of ministries throughout the province, and he is currently experiencing the ministry of retirement. He will be helping us walk through integral ecology as part of his 2-minute teachings that he is preparing for the province and the wider church. So welcome, Brother Keith.
Thank you. Chapter 4, numbers 137 to 162. The issues involved here are divided into 5 sections: environmental, economic, and social ecology, cultural ecology, ecology of daily life. I think that's where he says we ought to pray before meals, but I couldn't find it in the text. And the principle of the common good. He will talk continuously about dialogue, and over again he will make sure that he's talking about dialogue, and dialogue in search of the common good, not debate in search of convincing others of one's own viewpoint. And then justice between the generations will be the final section of this chapter. Obvious statement. There is a relationship between living organisms, including human beings, and the environment in which they develop. The environment in which people live greatly influences the dignity of human life, for better or for worse. Start with the physical environment. Junky environment can make people feel like junk. The social environment, the habitat for humanity, an inhuman physical environment will predictably lead to an inhuman social environment, characterized by violence, vandalism, and crime. Not vice versa, however, he says, because, quote, if the limitations of the environment are compensated for in the interior of each person who feels held within a network of solidarity and belonging, any place can turn from being a hell on earth into the setting for a dignified life. So even in the worst physical environments, he contends, if people love each other, it can still be good. Wrong, but good. Got it? Okay. Did I do this right? Yeah, I guess. Okay. Economics concerns itself with attempting greater production for lower cost. It becomes a driving force. But when the cost is calculated only in terms of the currency of the nation, then the assessment of the environmental impact of production is simply not calculated in the cost. And when economic profit is the only consideration, it leads to consumerism in an effort to get people to buy the goods which have been produced by less expensive means, and even though you don't need it, if you buy it, we can make money. He didn't say it quite that way. The social environment, since everything is related, the health of society's institutions has consequences for the environment and the quality of human life. And that's, I think, the big challenge, and for me, the insurmountable obstacle. How do the things I do or don't do affect the society's institutions. I don't know. But until those institutions are influenced positively, the social environment in which people live is really not going to improve a whole lot. Okay, the next topic, cultural ecology. The drive for greater production at lower costs impacts whole societies whose environment is depleted of natural resources, and the indigenous people are exploited to the extent that their culture is destroyed. We don't care about you, but we love the minerals in your land. No, we don't need you to help extract them and pay you for it. No, we'll bring in our own people and they'll extract it and we'll pay them. And then when we sweep the debris away, you'll go with it. That's pretty sad, I think. Okay, then this is where I think he said we ought to pray. The ecology of daily life. So even in the poorest areas, people can form relationships among themselves which provide the environment for truly human lives. We heard about several examples of that this morning. So it is possible. Authentic development includes the improvement of the conditions of human life. We might be able to, what was it always, build a better something or other? Build a better mousetrap, but if in doing so human life is degraded, no, we don't need a damn mousetrap. And Pope Francis says the design of homes, so in this ecology of daily life, the designs of homes and neighborhoods should be done only after consulting the people who are going to live there. Remember Cabrini Green in Chicago? Yes. Well, they finally tore it down. It was inhuman. And the other interesting thing he says about the ecology of daily life where people live, another one is, open natural space must be incorporated in the design of neighborhoods. Now, we were talking negatively about grass earlier, but it ain't all bad. And neighborhoods should be designed in such a way that residents feel that they are part of the whole city and not confined to their neighborhoods. Remember that slide yesterday of that big condominium type thing and then the fence and the slums? Bad. At least the Pope thinks so. And he makes a big plug. In order for this to happen, for people to be able to feel like they belong to the city, not just their neighborhood, you're going to have a good public transportation system. So people can move about the city which they think of as their own. Now, I don't know where this came from, how it got into the encyclical, but it's my guess that he was throwing a kudo to Pope John Paul's long series of the theology of the body. Because he adds, acceptance of our physical bodies and respect for them is another element in engaging humanly in our social environment. I did not select the picture. Okay. We'll move on. Number 4. Principle of the common good. So he defines, if you wish, the common good is the sum of those conditions of social life which allow social groups and their individual members relatively thorough and ready access to their own fulfillment. I like that. I like that because it doesn't suggest that I'm going to do something for you because I'm going to take care of you. No, It's the common good, and we will try to provide the conditions which will allow groups and individuals relatively thorough and free access to their own fulfillment. It doesn't enslave people or marginalize people. Marginate, I never get that one right. Anyway, the common good, therefore, calls for social peace, leave that yet. The stability and security provided by a certain order which cannot be achieved without particular concern for distributed justice, which I think of as, I pray whenever I preside, for all the poor people and for all the rich people, that together they may bring about a just distribution of the world's goods. Until there is a just distribution of the world's goods, there will be inevitably violence, hatred, envy, chaos. We gotta get a just distribution of the world's goods if we want to do away with all this violence. And he says, society as a whole and the state in particular are obliged to defend and promote that common good. Okay. He goes on to talk about justice between generations, and the obvious point is the common good also extends to those who come after us. You know, what kind of world are we going to leave them? Ecological concerns are not enough. But if we address those, we will be led to confront other issues as well. So okay, you understand that. So we have to ask, what is the purpose of our life in this world? Why are we here? What's the goal of our life and our efforts? What need does the world have of us? And he uses the phrase, doomsday predictions are no longer a joke. The planet cannot sustain our current lifestyle. Only decisive action here and now can prevent impending catastrophes. So why don't we address the pressing issues, he has asked, and he answers this, quote, an ethical and cultural decline. And he lists some examples of that. Rampant individualism, self-centered culture for instant gratification, impulsive and wasteful consumption, the inability to take into consideration the lot of the poor. So he asks what is needed, quote, a renewed sense of intragenerational solidarity. Now there's a picture of intergenerational solidarity. And that's the end of that chapter. And therefore, that is the end of my talk. Any questions?
Traditionally, capitalistic system, philosophy is maximize profit. How do we do it? Minimize wages. Go in other countries and get cheap labor. No controls, free for all, free enterprises for everybody. How are we going to get a just distribution without philosophy and the way in which it's lived out?
You can't. We have to change our mindset, and the Pope that's what he's trying to tell the whole world. We need to change our mindset, or we are never going to successfully Oh, I split the infinitive. We are never successfully going to solve these problems. That's, at least that's the point I'm taking from the whole encyclical. He's trying to change the world's mindset. I'm not sure if that's what he's really trying to do, but that's what I got out of it. Thank you very much.